This story is about David Goggins. It is not a happy story at the beginning. It is a story about pain, fear, and survival. David Goggins did not start life strong. He did not start life confident. He did not start life successful. He started life scared, overweight, and broken inside. This part of the story shows how pain shaped him. This part explains how his mind started to change. This part teaches one big lesson. Pain can build you, or pain can destroy you. A very hard childhood. David Goggins was born in the United States. His childhood was not safe. His home was not peaceful. His father was violent. His father used physical punishment. His father controlled the family with fear. David was beaten many times. Not once, not twice, many times. He learned fear very early in life. He learned how to stay quiet. He learned how to hide emotions. Every day, David lived in survival mode. He was always alert, always scared, always ready for pain. This kind of childhood leaves deep marks, not only on the body, but on the mind. David did not feel loved. He did not feel safe. He did not feel important. Instead, he felt small. Fear becomes normal. When a child lives in fear every day, fear becomes normal. David thought this was how life worked. He thought pain was normal. He thought suffering was normal. This is dangerous, because when pain feels normal, you stop fighting it. David became very quiet. He stayed inside himself. He did not speak much. At school, he struggled. He had trouble reading. He had trouble learning. Teachers thought he was slow. Some people thought he was stupid, but David was not stupid. His mind was just full of fear. Fear blocks learning. Fear blocks growth. Fear blocks confidence. Moving away, but the pain stays. Eventually, David and his mother escaped from his father. They moved to another place, but leaving the house did not remove the pain. The fear stayed inside David. The trauma stayed inside him. Pain does not disappear just because you change location. David started gaining weight. He ate for comfort. Food became a way to feel safe. He became very overweight. His health got worse. Other kids made fun of him. They laughed at his body. They laughed at his weakness. This created shame. Shame is very powerful. Shame makes you hide. Shame makes you feel less than others. David felt ashamed of himself every day, living as a victim. At this stage in life, David saw himself as a victim. Life felt unfair. People felt cruel. The world felt against him. He blamed his past. He blamed his childhood. He blamed his pain, and his pain was real. But something important happened later. David learned this truth. Pain explains your past, but it cannot control your future. At this time, he did not know that yet. He felt trapped. No confidence, no identity. David had no clear identity. He did not know who he was. He was not the smart kid. He was not the athletic kid. He was not the popular kid. He felt invisible. When you do not believe in yourself, you accept less. You accept bad treatment. You accept low standards. You accept weakness. David accepted a weak version of himself because he did not know any other version. The turning point begins, small but important. One day, David saw something that changed his thinking. He saw strong men, men with discipline, men with control. He saw military members. They stood tall. They looked confident. They looked powerful. For the first time, David felt curiosity. He thought, why am I not like that? Why am I weak? Why am I afraid? These questions were painful, but they were important. Painful questions lead to real change. Realizing the truth about himself. David slowly started seeing the truth. He realized something very hard. He was not weak because of his past only. He was weak because he allowed weakness to stay. This realization hurt. But this pain was different. This pain was honest. Honest pain is powerful. It shows you reality. Accountability starts here. David learned a concept that changed his life. It is called accountability. Accountability means I am responsible for my life, not his father, not his childhood, not society, him. This idea was uncomfortable, but it was freeing. Because if he was responsible, then he could also change. The seed of a tough mind. David did not become strong overnight. He did not suddenly change, but a seed was planted, a seed of responsibility, a seed of discipline, a seed of self-respect. He began to understand no one was coming to save him. No one would fix his life for him. If he wanted a better life, he had to suffer on purpose. This idea is very important. Suffering with a purpose. David learned the difference between two types of pain. Useless pain, pain that breaks you. Purpose pain, pain that builds you. His childhood pain was useless pain. It happened without choice. But training pain, discipline pain, mental struggle by choice. That pain makes you stronger. David wanted that kind of pain. The start of self-respect. For the first time in his life, David wanted to respect himself, not others respecting him, not praise, not attention. Self-respect. Self-respect comes from keeping promises to yourself, doing hard things, facing fear. This scared him, but it also excited him, seeing the truth in the mirror. David looks at his body. He weighs almost 300 pounds. He is unhealthy. He is tired all the time. He cannot run. He cannot do pull-ups. Simple physical tasks feel impossible. This hurts his pride. But instead of running from the truth, David decides to face it. Facing the truth is the first act of courage. Most people avoid the mirror. David chooses to stand in front of it. He understands something important. If I lie to myself, I stay the same. If I tell myself the truth, I can change. This is the beginning of discipline, the dream of the military. David still remembers the men he saw before. Strong, disciplined, confident. He wants to become like them. He sets a goal that feels impossible. He wants to join the U.S. military special forces. This dream is huge. His body is not ready. His mind is not ready. But the dream gives him direction. Direction gives pain a purpose. Realizing how far he is from the goal, David learns the physical standards. Running, push-ups, pull-ups, endurance. He cannot meet any of them. This is humiliating. But instead of quitting, he makes a decision. He will change his body. Not slowly, not comfortably, completely. Extreme weight loss begins. David starts training. At first it is terrible. Running hurts his knees. Breathing is hard. His body feels heavy. Every step hurts. His mind screams, "Stop! Quit! This is too much." This voice is familiar. It is the same voice from his childhood. The voice of fear. But now David answers it. He says, "I will not stop." He runs anyway. Pain every day. David trains every day. Not when he feels good. Not when he feels motivated. He trains when he feels tired. He trains when he feels pain. He trains when he wants to quit. This is new. Most people train based on emotion. David trains based on decision. Decision is stronger than motivation. Losing weight, but gaining pain. The weight starts coming off, but the pain increases. His joints hurt. His muscles burn. His skin changes fast. His body is under shock, but his mind is changing too. Each painful workout teaches him something. It teaches him, I can suffer and survive. This lesson builds confidence. The mind starts to harden. David learns that the mind gives up first. The body can do more, much more. When the mind says, I'm done, the body still has energy left. David begins pushing past that voice. Every time he does, his mental strength grows. This is the start of what he later calls a calloused mind. Just like hands get tough from work, the mind gets tough from struggle. No shortcuts, only work. David does not look for easy paths. He does not look for comfort. He removes excuses from his life. No excuses about weather. No excuses about mood. No excuses about pain. Excuses keep people average. David chooses suffering instead. First big failure. David applies for military training. He believes he is ready, but he is not. He fails. His body cannot keep up. His performance is not enough. This failure hurts deeply. Old thoughts return. You are not good enough. You should quit. This moment is dangerous. Many people quit here. How David responds to failure. David does something different. He does not blame anyone. He does not make excuses. He looks at himself honestly. He says, I failed because I was not prepared. This is powerful. Failure becomes a teacher. Failure as fuel. Instead of quitting, David uses failure as fuel. He trains harder. He trains longer. He attacks his weaknesses. Weak running? He runs more. Weak upper body? He does more pull-ups. Bad endurance? He increases distance. He turns pain into a plan. Discipline over feelings. David learns a life rule. Feelings are temporary. Discipline lasts. Some days he feels motivated. Many days he does not. But he trains anyway. Discipline means doing the work, even when you do not want to. This separates strong minds from weak ones. Building a new identity. Slowly, David changes how he sees himself. He is no longer the overweight guy. He is no longer the victim. He becomes the man who does not quit. Identity changes behavior. When you see yourself as disciplined, you act disciplined. Self-respect is growing. Every completed workout builds trust. Trust in himself. He starts believing, if I say I will do something, I will do it. This is rare. Most people break promises to themselves. David keeps them. This builds deep self-respect. Mental pain is harder than physical pain. David learns another truth. Physical pain ends. Mental pain stays longer. Doubt, fear, memory. He trains his mind to stay calm under stress. He learns to breathe through pain. Pain becomes familiar. Familiar pain becomes manageable. The cost of change. Change is not free. David loses comfort. He loses sleep. He loses social life. But he gains something more valuable. Control. Control over his actions. Control over his future. Second chance approaches. David prepares again for military training. This time he is different. Still scared. Still imperfect. But stronger. More disciplined. More honest. More focused. Entering extreme training. David enters military-style training. The days are long. The nights are short. Sleep is limited. Food is limited. Pain is constant. The goal is simple. Break the body. Break the mind. Most people fail here. Pain is a daily companion. David's body hurts all the time. Feet are bleeding. Muscles are torn. Joints are swollen. There is no comfort. But David does not panic. Pain is no longer a surprise. Pain is familiar. He tells himself, this pain is expected. When pain becomes expected, it loses power. The mind wants to escape. During extreme stress, the mind looks for escape. Thoughts appear. Quit. This is pointless. You are done. David notices these thoughts. He does not fight them with emotion. He fights them with logic. He says, this feeling will pass. I am still alive. I can take one more step. One step becomes another step. The 40% rule. David learns something important. When the mind says, I am done, the body is usually only at 40%. This means you have much more left. Most people quit at 40%. David chooses to continue. This rule changes everything. The calloused mind. David's mind begins to change shape. Just like hands get rough from work, the mind gets strong from struggle. Fear does not disappear. Pain does not disappear, but they stop controlling him. This is the calloused mind, a mind that can handle discomfort without panic. Choosing to stay present. David learns to stay in the moment. He does not think about the full distance. He does not think about the end. He focuses on one breath, one step, one task. This keeps the mind calm. Big goals feel smaller when broken into small actions. Introduction to endurance events. After military training, David looks for new challenges. He enters endurance events, long distance running, ultra races, extreme physical tests. These events last many hours, sometimes more than one day. Running without preparation. In one race, David enters with little training. The distance is extreme. Early in the race, his body begins to fail. Muscles lock, feet blister, pain becomes sharp. His body sends danger signals. The body starts to shut down. At one point, David's kidneys begin to struggle. He is urinating blood. This is serious. Medical staff tells him to stop. Stopping would be logical. Stopping would be safe. The decision to continue. David looks inside himself. He knows the risk. He understands the danger, but he also understands something else. He knows quitting here will become a habit. He chooses to continue with awareness. This moment is controversial, but for David, this is about mastering his mind. Mental control over panic. David controls his breathing. He slows his thoughts. He does not allow fear to take over. Panic wastes energy. Calm saves energy. He keeps moving. Slow, painful, but forward. Taking souls, what it means. David uses a phrase, taking souls. This does not mean hurting others. It means this. When others see you suffer and still continue, it affects them. They see discipline. They see control. It makes them question their limits. This gives David strength, using pain as a weapon. David learns to use pain. When he sees others slowing down, he speeds up, not to show off, but to remind himself, I am still in control. Pain becomes a tool, not an enemy. The cookie jar concept. David develops a mental tool called the cookie jar. The cookie jar stores past victories. When pain hits, he remembers surviving abuse, losing massive weight, finishing brutal training. He pulls strength from memory. Past success proves I can survive this too. Why memory is power. Memory reminds the mind that pain ends. Fear lies. Memory tells the truth. David uses memory to stay strong under pressure. The body breaks, the mind leads. There are moments when the body cannot lead. In those moments, the mind takes control. David moves forward through will alone. This is not talent. This is practice. The cost of extreme endurance. David pays a price. Permanent damage. Chronic pain. But he accepts this cost. He believes in ownership. Ownership of choices. Ownership of consequences. Pain without purpose is empty. David understands something important. Pain by itself does not create meaning. If pain has no direction, it becomes self-destruction. David does not want to destroy himself. He wants to build himself. So he looks deeper. The accountability mirror. David creates a powerful habit. He calls it the accountability mirror. Every day, he stands in front of a mirror. He looks at himself honestly. No lies. No excuses. He asks hard questions. Did I work hard today? Did I avoid effort? Did I improve? Most people avoid these questions. David faces them. Writing the truth. David writes goals on the mirror. Not easy goals. Hard goals. He writes weaknesses too. This is uncomfortable, but discomfort brings clarity. Seeing the truth daily forces action. No escape from responsibility. The mirror does not judge. It only reflects truth. David cannot blame anyone there. Not his past. Not his pain. Not other people. Only himself. This builds personal ownership. Ownership gives power. Standards over motivation. David stops relying on motivation. Motivation is unstable. It comes and goes. Instead, he builds standards. A standard means this is how I live. No negotiation. He trains even when tired. He works even when bored. Standards create consistency. The power of daily discipline. David believes greatness is built daily, not in big moments. Small actions repeated every day create strong results. Skipping one day breaks momentum, so he does not skip. Choosing the hard path daily. Every day offers two paths. Easy path, hard path. The easy path feels good now. The hard path builds strength later. David chooses the hard path. Again and again, this choice becomes habit. Purpose beyond self. David begins to think beyond himself. He wants his life to show what is possible, not through words, through action. He wants to be an example of human potential. This gives his suffering meaning. Using pain to serve a message. David's pain becomes a message. The message is simple. You are capable of more. He does not say this softly. He lives it. Discipline creates freedom. This sounds strange, but David believes discipline creates freedom. When you control yourself, no one else controls you. Freedom from excuses. Freedom from weakness. This freedom is earned. The importance of self-respect. David values self-respect above comfort. Comfort fades. Self-respect stays. He builds self-respect by keeping promises to himself, even small promises. Living with pain long-term. David accepts pain as part of life, not as punishment, as training. He does not seek pain blindly. He respects limits, but challenges them carefully. Balance between toughness and awareness. David learns balance. Push hard, but stay aware. Strength without awareness leads to injury. Awareness without challenge leads to weakness. He learns both. No finish line. David realizes there is no finish line. There is no final victory. Life is continuous effort. This truth keeps him sharp. Living unbreakable in the final mindset. At this point in the story, David Goggins is no longer changing. He has changed. Not because life became easier, but because his mind became stronger. This final part explains how David lives now and what his journey teaches everyone. An unbreakable mindset. David does not believe in being fearless. Fear still exists. What changed is control. Fear no longer decides his actions. Pain no longer stops him. Discomfort no longer scares him. This is what unbreakable means. You will never arrive. David teaches a strong truth. There is no moment where the work ends. The final level, no finish line. Life always demands effort. This keeps him humble and focused. The responsibility of potential. David believes potential is a responsibility. If you waste it, you disrespect yourself. Everyone has different limits, but everyone has unused capacity. David's life proves this. Stop negotiating with weakness. Weakness speaks softly. It sounds reasonable. It's okay to stop. You deserve rest. Tomorrow is fine. David does not negotiate. He listens, then he acts anyway. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. Pain teaches awareness. It shows limits. It shows truth. David respects pain, but does not fear it. Pain becomes information. The importance of daily honesty. David practices daily honesty. He asks, did I give my best today? Not perfect. Just honest effort. Lying to yourself is the fastest way to fail. Comparison is useless. David does not compare himself to others. He compares himself to yesterday. Growth is personal. Turning pain into service. David's suffering is no longer about him. It becomes service. His life shows others what discipline can do. This is leadership by example. Mental tools for life. David leaves tools, not motivation. Accountability mirror. Cookie jar. Standards. 40% rule. These tools work in any life situation. Living with permanent discomfort. Comfort is not the goal. Growth is the goal. David accepts discomfort as part of progress. Final message. David Goggins' story is not about being extreme. It is about being honest. Honest with pain. Honest with effort. Honest with potential. You do not need to become David Goggins. You need to become your strongest self. Key final lesson. You are capable of more than you believe, but belief alone is not enough. Action is required. Daily, relentless, honest. End of book summary. This is the complete journey of Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins. From fear, pain, weakness, to discipline, strength, ownership,